closer to the mic.
Bring it up, Doug. You're a tall guy.
Can't hear you. Closer to the mic.
Pull it up a little.
There you go.
I'm not a microphone person.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, this is the beginning of my trip to Mexico, quite a number of years ago. It was the night of August 23rd, 2002. I rolled into bed expecting a sleepless, fitful night of anticipation. However, upon waking at 0400, I found I had slept soundly and was well up for the taking of an adventure. Larry, my crew, met me at the boat at
Closer to the mic,
0700.
please.
Eh?
Closer to the mic.
Does it doesn't bite?
You might like that.
Larry, my crew, met me at the boat at 0700 along with a few friends that had arrived to see us off. All was in the ready, the culmination of years of planning and dreaming. The little ship, a Bayfield 29, was low and laden with a slight list to port. As goodbyes were exchanged, the dock lines came aboard and we lumbered out against a flood tide. It's safer to leave Humboldt Bay on a flood, as ebb can create breakers across the entrance bar. As the trusty little Yanmar diesel chugged us along, we passed the yacht club. To our surprise and glee, my friend Jerry fired a 3-report salute with his black powder cannon. This cannon is his pride and joy. He had it custom made. The barrel is turned from an old bronze shaft. It has a one-half turn interrupted thread breech and a firing pin. It is chambered for 12-gauge shells and sits atop an oak navy patterned car with steel wheels. He likes to load flour where the shot would be so it smokes impressively. It was a memorable send-off. The gray overcast was starting to clear as we passed the Coast Guard station. By the time we reached the entrance buoy a mile offshore, we were able to crack on sail and set a course for the Bunce Reef Buoy off Cape Mendocino. The Cape has a terrible to terrifying reputation as one of the 7 horns of the Pacific, but this day developed into a glorious romp in a 10 to 15 knots of wind, with 4 to 6 foot swells and boisterous little whitecaps kashooshing around the ship under a crisp cerulean sky. We worked our way into Shelter Cove that afternoon and enjoyed a calm evening under an impressive blanket of stars. The stars on a dark, moonless night in the cove seemed brighter due to there being no city lights for many miles in all directions. The cove that night was host to approximately 30 commercial fishing boats. Their anchor lights created stars of their own that swung in small arcs against the velvet darkness as the gentle swell moved by. In the dawn hours, we woke up to an empty harbor. All the fish boats were gone out working. In my youth, I had been a commercial fisherman. Your day starts very early. The weather was much like the day before as we moved south under all plain sail and clear skies. We passed the working boats harvesting salmon. They all tacked southeast towards the Noyo River, our next stop. It was late afternoon when they all began to pass on both sides of us with their poles up and bows pointed towards Noyo. As we approached the river, we could see more fishermen coming from south and west. The harbor on the Noyo River at Fort Bragg is extremely picturesque. Several movie pictures, The Russians Are Coming, Popeye, and Overboard, were all filmed here. As we passed under the highway bridge and motored up the river, the wharfs were tied 5 boats deep on both sides of the river. Bad weather's a-coming. We anchored in the river across the stream from the marina in the lee of an ivy-covered bluff with a Victorian bed and breakfast perched at its top. Storybook setting on the river. Absolute hell outside. We stayed 5 days. The wind and the sea increased to 40 knots and 14 foot in 9 seconds before the weather gods saw fit to inhale. Our days on the Noyo were filled with good food, pleasant conversation, and naps. This tidal river runs in the bottom of a deep canyon. The winds can't penetrate the fortress it forms. It was calm and warm at anchor. We would do boat chores in the morning, then row across to the marina and climb the steep road to the small shopping mall that spreads along the highway. A short walk across the highway had us on the bluff overlooking the Pacific. It looked a mite uncomfortable out there. During the morning of the third day, we had a potentially disastrous occurrence. Larry rowed across to get something from the chandlery. As he attempted to get aboard upon his return, he did a classic 1 foot in the ship, 1 foot in the dink, and the distance between the two increasing rapidly. Sploosh, and he went. Larry's a big man. He has incredible upper body strength stemming from a lifetime of working as a lineman for the telephone company. But he was in that cold water for 45 minutes before we were able to get him back on board with the use of the main sheet and a bosun's chair. This whole thing was quite sobering. Had that happened in the open sea, I would never have been able to get him back on board. We agreed to wear our safety harnesses for the duration of the voyage.